Hello, everyone. Today's chess puzzle.
Okay.
We've got quite a fascinating position here.
Yeah.
White has a pawn on e5,
Okay.
another pawn on c4, a knight on g4, a pawn on f3.
Mm-hmm.
Their queen is sitting pretty on g3,
Right.
another pawn on a2, a rook on b2,
Okay.
a pawn on g2, the king on b1, a bishop on c1, and finally a rook on h1.
Gotcha.
Black's got a rook on a8.
Okay.
Their king is on e8, another rook on g8, a pawn on d7,
Mm-hmm.
a bishop on e7, a pawn on f7, a bishop on c6,
Okay.
a pawn on e6, a pawn on c5.
Right.
Their queen is menacingly placed on a3.
Yeah.
And lastly, a pawn on b3.
Okay, so it's black to move.
It is Black's turn to move. Let's get this going.
Yeah, let's break it down.
What jumps out at you right away?
I mean, that black queen on a3 is really in your face.
Oh, yeah.
It's really putting pressure on that a2 pawn,
Right.
you know? And if black can just gobble that up, that could
Okay.
be really problematic for white. But you also have to pay attention to white's queen on g3.
Yeah, it feels like a standoff, almost.
Exactly, and that's what makes this puzzle so interesting.
Okay.
Black has to find a way to kind of break through that stalemate, you know?
Right.
To create an advantage that's bigger than just taking that one pawn.
So where do they start? What's the key?
Well, if you look at black's bishop on c6,
Mhm.
it seems kind of passive right now.
Yeah.
But if you could get that to e4...
Ah, I see what you're getting at. From
Yeah.
e4, it could put the white king in check.
Exactly.
And maybe even open up an attack down that h1, a8 diagonal.
Totally. Yeah.
But how do you get that bishop there?
Right?
That pawn on f3 is in the way.
That's the crux of the puzzle.
Okay.
Black needs to make white move that pawn.
Right.
And that's where the solution comes into play.
I'm ready. What's the answer?
Okay, so the answer is black's first move is bishop c6 to e4.
Bishop to e4. Okay, got it.
Yep.
So walk us through it. What happens next?
So white's got to take that bishop, right?
Man.
They move their pawn from f3 to e4.
Makes sense. They don't want to just lose a piece.
Exactly.
And they want to block that attack we talked about.
For sure. Now, black's going to do something that might seem a little weird at first.
Okay.
They're going to move their pawn from b3 to a2.
Wait, they're going to take that pawn?
Yeah, they're going to capture that pawn.
Hold on. Why would they do that? It doesn't seem like a big game.
Well, it's all part of the plan.
Okay.
See, now white has to move their king to a1.
To protect the rook.
Exactly.
Okay.
And with the king out of the way,
I see where you're going with this.
black can swoop in with their queen from a3 to g3.
Wow.
Got a big move.
Yeah, it controls that whole diagonal
Right.
and puts a ton of pressure on the white king.
Yeah, and they've pushed the king all the way to the edge of the board.
Exactly. It's all about limiting white's options.
It makes it much harder to defend.
For sure.
So even though this isn't checkmate, black has got a huge advantage here.
Absolutely.
This is a great example of how a sacrifice, if you do it right,
And really understand the position. It could be so powerful.
absolutely.
Thank you for listening.